Aloha, everybody, and welcome back to Part 5 of Crash Twinsanity. In the last part, we defeated Uka Uka, Dr. Cortex's evil mask master, and now we're going to be joining forces to take on the evil twins together. So yeah, how about that? I find it funny with the Naughty Dog trilogy how, every single game was adding to the mythology and adding, oh, by the way, kind of factoids with each game, you know? Like, in Crash 1, Crash didn't have a sister. Coco was not in the original game, and there was no hint that he had a sister at all. He just had a girlfriend named Tana, who completely disappeared when the second game started, and then was replaced with his sister Coco. And when it comes to, Aku Aku and Uka Uka, those characters were not really characters in the first two games. Aku Aku does not talk in the first two games at all, aside from, the sound effects of, Ooga booga when you pick him up and stuff, you know? And it's only until the third game that all of a sudden Aku Aku is talking with them in Crash's house, and oh, by the way, he has an evil twin brother named Uka Uka, who, by the way, Dr. Cortex has been following the orders of this entire time. Even though Cortex has never referred to Uka Uka in the first two games at all. You know, we just thought he was the head honcho that N. Brio and N. Jin were following the orders of, but it turns out that, you know, as established with the opening cutscene of Crash 3, you've not only failed me once, but twice! Uka Uka, it's all that infernal Bandicoot's fault. Why was Cortex even following Uka Uka's orders even though he was trapped in a Mayan temple? Was that ever explained in the instruction manuals or something? It doesn't matter.
Come, we must make preparations for... It's probably for you.
Trick or treat! Trick or treat!
Fools! You thought these two party toys could defeat us? We are masters of the infinite dimensions, with power over reality itself.
And riches beyond imagination!
Riches?
Riches? What's wrong with you? Always bringing up the riches. You don't remember us, do you, Doctor?
Should I?
You ruined our lives. Allow us to return the favor.
Alrighty, so we got ourselves a forced combat section here. We have to beat up all of these. I called them mole people in the cavern levels, but I guess they're actually ant people. Because I know there was supposed to be a third villain alongside the twins who was this big ant king or whatever. The only really deleted stuff, lost history stuff I've been looking at online has been the wiki pages and stuff. And I've been digging up some YouTube videos learning about all the cut content that Twinsanity has, and it has a lot, let me tell you. But the twins' minions are supposed to be ants, because they're a carryover for when this game had 3 villains instead of just 2. But the Ant Emperor, the Ant King, or whatever, I guess he was dropped from the story when they were designing this game, so... the twins have ant minions with lightsabers, so... just spin into them twice.
You see? This is why nobody likes you. A curse on you, Crash Bandicoot! A curse on you all! We shall return!
Oh, forget I mentioned the riches thing, huh?
Dr. Cortex, what have you done?
Who are these evil upstarts? I've ruined the lives of so many. I can't be expected to remember them all. Such a big head! Such a tiny brain!
If we deliver him to the evil twins, perhaps they will spare us.
But they'll kill me! That's a risk I'm willing to take! Crash, I've been like a father to you. I created you, nursed you, tried to destroy you. So what do you say? With my mighty intellect and your vacuous stupidity, we'll be unbeatable! Come along! To the Psychotron!
It's a plan, Dr. Cortex. We'll be bestest buddies, and then we'll take out the evil twins together. Why not? I like all the little set design that goes on with Cortex's laboratory here, like this map of the world, this picture of this little girl with a small lowercase n on her forehead. What's up with that? I wonder if we're going to find out who she is later in this game. And Cortex has a nice throne he gets to sit in, and, gets to sit in. Come on. I want to be an evil dictator. Come on. Oh. For some reason, there's some kind of force pushing me around, so I can't lie in the chair, so whatever. But, yeah. We're gonna go to Dr. Cortex's Psychotron, which is just beneath the throne room, and he'll tell us what we need to do in order to take out these twins.
This is the Psychotron Gateway to the infinite dimensions. Beyond our universe, somewhere between the 9th and 11th dimensions, lies the mysterious 10th dimension. And there we must go in order to confront the evil twins, steal the riches, and restore the natural order of things, with me on top. We require 6 power crystals in order to make the leap, and we have 4. Let's see. That isn't enough! All is lost, unless... This way!
I like that gag because you think he's typing in the computer to, like, find out where the crystals are, and then he's like, that's not enough! Like he's doing the calculations, like, 6 take away 4. Like, what did he... I don't know, it's kind of a dumb joke, but... I like the writing in this game. It's dumb, it's goofy, it's silly. It's rated E for everyone, so it's good for the kids. You know. It's all kinds of fantastic. Still, I love the size and scope of the Cortex Iceberg laboratory. I've said this a lot, but you can't drop down here and then go to the lower areas. If you drop from this height, it will count as going into a bottomless pit, and you'll lose an extra life, and then you'll go back to your last checkpoint. So I can't drop here, land all the way where the gems were in part 4, and like I'll have to go all the way back up or anything. No. There's a certain border where it's like, no, you're falling too far. You're way too high up. That's a bottomless pit territory, my friend. You're going to die right now, okay? That's fine, you know. You don't want to have to backtrack all the way up through this laboratory all over again. Although I think they put an elevator right where the front entrance is now, if for some reason you're at the bottom and you want to go back to where the Psychotron and the throne room is. So they're very considerate like that. They do add shortcuts if you want to keep going through this island. Anyway, folks, we got a really tricky part here, especially because I was collecting all of the gems in the game. Slip slide escapades. Icecapades, I should say. And this one is really, really tricky.
There! To the sea, I tell you! Our salvation floats upon the briny blue! We must reach Engine's battleship, and quickly before it sets sail! But how? Think, Cortex, think!
If you've seen the box art of Crash Twinsanity, you may have been wondering why Crash was riding Cortex like a snowboard on the cover, and this is exactly why. There are snowboarding levels in Crash Twinsanity where we're not riding a piece of wood, we're not riding a snowboard itself, we're riding Dr. Cortex because, well, he kind of deserves it. However, this also means I have to collect a whole bunch of colored gems down this pathway. There are 6 in this particular snowboarding section, and if I miss one, I'll either have to kill myself, unless I hit a checkpoint box, in which case I'm too late. So you'll notice before I started doing this, I actually saved the game, and I had to retry this a lot. I had to retry this a dozen times, because it's really easy to angle yourself the wrong way and to like jump into one of the pipes and bounce off where you don't want to go, or just completely miss a switch that was supposed to raise these ramps so that you can jump these high distances and these high gaps, you know?
Get them off of me! Shoot!
I mean, if you're playing this level casually, if you don't care about the gems, if you're not going for 100% completion, I actually think this level's pretty damn fun. It's really satisfying. You can still die. There is the threat of death because, ooh, God. Poor Cortex. Riding that rail on his crotch. Oh, God. But, if you're not going for the gems, there is a threat of death. There are bottomless pits you could fall in to lose a life. You can take too many hits from the icicles and stalactites. You still have an Aku Aku mask following you, as you've noticed. And, you can still take damage from the mines and stuff. But, if you're just playing it casually and you're not worried about the gems, this is actually pretty damn fun. It's really fast-paced. It's really thrilling. I like, aiming for the grind rails. Poor Dr. Cortex. Poor Dr. Cortex's testicles. Oh, God.
Coming through! Ladies? Excuse me, madam. Are those real? Mother?
I think that was Tana on the billboard, the Crash's girlfriend from Crash 1. That one I've screwed up a lot in practice for this particular run. You see how I just kind of made it, and I easily could have like hit the thing, bounced off, and fell off? You know, I picked up the gem, but like, I didn't actually make it all the way through. It's just like, ugh. Some of these jumps are very, very tricky, and it's easy to take damage, but, you know. I still think this is really, really fun. I don't think it's unfair bullshit or anything. Sometimes the camera isn't helpful, especially later when it's a little bit hard to see what you're going into when you get a little bit bigger, let's say. Spoiler coming up, but, for the most part, it's pretty thrilling, pretty exciting. I'd put this up there with any snowboard section from the first two Sonic Adventure games, with the Sonic series, you know. It's fantastic. At the end, you turn into a big, massive snowball, and this is when you can start running into the icicles and stuff, and you won't take damage. But it's a little bit unwieldy, and certainly the camera angle doesn't help when it's hard to notice what's ahead of you. Like, see that gem I just picked up? Would you have known that was there from what was happening before? Good lord.
I've never been so humiliated. No amount of treasure could ever begin to compensate.
Treasure, eh? Bonza.
Well, we just crushed Dingodile in his outhouse, and there were no sound effects. Once again, the sound design with certain cutscenes are not the greatest. I feel like there should have been a lot of screams and crashing and smashing and I don't know. Like I said, this game was rushed, and I imagine there was a lot of stuff they wanted to implement but just didn't have time for, so... Hey, my condolences. I get it. I get it. You know, I get it. The game still turned out really great despite the fact that it was rushed, so I'm not complaining too much. That cave I just looked at, that will take you back to where Cortex's laboratory is, and if you're running out of lives, if you've been dying a lot in this game, that pathway is also littered with one-up boxes throughout. So if you're running low and you want to get some extra lives, go through that tunnel and you'll find a whole bunch alongside it. But, we got a gem along the way, and we could find another gem inside... Or sorry, not gem, power crystal. We got a power crystal along the way in the snowboarding section. We're going to find another one inside of Engine's big tanker ship. And, it's going to be an explosive place. We'll check it out in Part 6.